My brother's daughter made up stories about me for social media clout. She lost everything when the truth came of the everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I need to share something that's been eating at me for months now. This story involves my own family, and honestly, I never thought I'd be making a video like this. But after everything that's happened, I feel like I need to set the record straight and maybe help others who might be going through something similar. So let me start from the beginning. My name is David, I'm 34 years old, and I work as a high school math teacher. I've been married to my wife Sarah for 8 years, and we have 2 young kids together. I've always been close with my family, especially my younger brother Mark and his daughter Emma, who's 16 now. Emma has been like a niece to me since she was born. Mark was a single dad for most of her life after her mom left when Emma was just 3. As the uncle, I tried to be there for both of them. I'd take Emma to movies, help her with homework, attend her school events when Mark couldn't make it because of work. We had what I thought was a great relationship. I was like a second father figure to her, but everything changed about 6 months ago, and it started with something I should have seen as a red flag. Emma had always been a pretty normal kid, but around her sophomore year, she became obsessed with social media. I'm talking TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. She was constantly on her phone, always trying to create content. At first, it seemed harmless. She'd make dance videos, lip-sync 2 songs, the usual teenage stuff. But then I noticed she was getting more and more desperate for views and followers. Mark mentioned to me that Emma had been begging him for a new phone, designer clothes, anything that would make her content more aesthetic, as she put it. She'd cry when her videos didn't get enough likes, and she spent hours researching trending topics and hashtags. It was becoming unhealthy, but Mark didn't know how to handle it. The first incident happened during our family barbecue in July. It was a typical summer gathering: my parents, Mark, Emma, my wife's family, about 20 people total. Emma was filming everything, as usual, asking people to be in her videos. Most of us played along because we wanted to support her interests, but then something weird happened. Emma approached me while I was grilling and asked if she could film a day in the life type video with me. She wanted to show her followers what it was like having a cool teacher uncle. I agreed, thinking it was innocent enough. We filmed for maybe 10 minutes, me flipping burgers, making jokes, just normal family stuff. Later that evening, after everyone had gone home, Mark called me. He sounded concerned. "David, did you notice Emma acting strange today during the filming?" he asked. I thought about it. "Not really." "Why?" She kept asking me weird questions after you left, like whether you'd ever been alone with her, if I trusted you around her. It was really out of nowhere. That gave me a chill, but I brushed it off. Maybe she's just going through a phase. You know how teenage girls can be, but Mark's call stuck with me. Over the next few weeks, I noticed Emma's behavior toward me had changed. She'd become distant, barely acknowledging me at family gatherings. When I tried to talk to her, she'd give one-word answers and walk away. It hurt, honestly, because we'd always been close. Then came the social media posts. It started subtly. Emma began posting cryptic messages on her Instagram stories, things like "some people aren't who they seem to be and adults can be predators too. Stay safe, girls." Her follower count was growing, and these mysterious posts were getting a lot of engagement. People were commenting, asking what was wrong, telling her to stay strong. I didn't connect it to me at first. I figured she was going through typical teenage drama, maybe issues at school or with friends. But then Sarah pointed something out that made my blood run cold. "David, look at this," she said one evening, showing me her phone. Emma had posted a TikTok video titled "Red Flags I Ignored About My Family Member." The video showed Emma looking sad and emotional, with text overlay that read things like "he always wanted to spend time alone with me," made inappropriate comments about my appearance, and my dad trusted him completely. The video had thousands of views and hundreds of comments. People were telling Emma to speak up, to tell a trusted adult, and some were even suggesting she call the police. My heart sank. I knew she was talking about me. I immediately called Mark. We need to talk now. Mark came over that night, and I showed him the video. His face went white. This can't be about you, he said, but his voice was shaky. Emma, she WOULDN single quotes T. You're her uncle, Mark. Think about it. Who else could she be referring to? I'm the only family member who spent significant time alone with her. I'm the one who helped raise her. We decided to confront Emma together. When we sat her down, she initially denied the videos were about me, but when we pressed her, she broke down crying. I didn't mean for it to go this far, she sobbed. I just wanted people to notice me. My videos weren't getting any views, and I saw how much attention girls got when they talked about serious stuff like this. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. Emma, do you understand what you're accusing me of? She nodded, still crying. I know it's not true. I know you never did anything bad. But everyone was commenting and sharing, and I got so many new followers. I didn't know how to take it back. Mark was furious. Emma, this isn't a game. You could ruin David's entire life. His career, his family, everything. Asterisk, but the damage was already spreading. Some of Emma's classmates knew me from school. Remember, I'm a teacher. Screenshots of her videos were circulating. By the next morning, I had 3 missed calls from my principal asking me to come in. Immediately. The meeting with my principal and the school district's HR representative was a nightmare. They'd seen the social media posts. Even though Emma hadn't named me specifically, people had connected the dots. I was placed on immediate administrative leave pending an investigation. We have to take these allegations seriously, my principal explained. Until we can verify the situation, you can't be around students. I understood their position, but it was devastating. Teaching wasn't just my job, it was my passion. I'd worked so hard to build relationships with my students and fellow teachers. Now, colleagues were looking at me differently. Parents were asking if their kids were safe in my classes. Sarah was incredible through all of this. She never doubted me for a second, but I could see the stress was killing her. Our own kids didn't understand why Daddy couldn't go to work anymore. Sarah had to take time off to help manage the situation, which put financial strain on our family. Meanwhile, Emma's social media following was exploding. She'd gone from a few hundred followers to over 10,000 in just a few days. She was getting brand partnership offers, people were sending her money through donation apps, and she was reveling in the attention. But Mark had reached his breaking point. He took away her phone and demanded she post a retraction. Emma refused. You don't understand, she argued. This is my chance. I could become an influencer. I could make real money from this by lying about your uncle, by destroying his life. Mark was angrier than I'd ever seen him. That's when Emma said something that still haunts me. It's not like anyone got actually hurt. It's just social media. People forget about stuff like this all the time. The casual way she dismissed the impact of her lies was chilling. This wasn't just a mistake anymore. She was actively choosing to maintain her false story for personal gain. Mark gave her an ultimatum: post a public retraction, an apology, or move out. Emma called his bluff and refused, so Mark followed through. He packed her bags and sent her to live with her maternal grandmother in another state. But even with Emma gone, the damage was spreading. Family members who had seen her posts were divided. Some believed Emma was telling the truth and thought Mark was covering for me. Others thought Emma was lying but weren't sure what to believe. My parents were caught in the middle. They knew me. They'd raised me, but they also loved Emma. It was tearing our family apart. The school district's investigation took 3 weeks. They interviewed Emma, who maintained her story initially, Mark, me, Sarah, and several other family members. They reviewed my employment history, spoke with colleagues and students, and looked for any previous complaints or red flags. Thank God there were none. My record was spotless. Students and colleagues vouched for my character, the investigators. Found no evidence to support Emma's claims, but here's where the story takes a crucial turn. The investigator, a former police detective named Mrs. Rodriguez, was thorough. She didn't just look at the allegations, she looked at Emma's social media history, her online behavior, and the timeline of events. What she found was damning. For Emma, Mrs. Rodriguez discovered that Emma had been researching viral victim stories and had joined online communities where people discussed how to gain social media followers through controversial content. She'd even commented on other posts asking for advice on how to make people believe your story. Most importantly, Mrs. Rodriguez found Emma's private messages with friends where she bragged about her genius plan to get famous by making up drama about my uncle. The messages were time-stamped before her first cryptic social media post. When confronted with this evidence, Emma finally admitted the truth. She confessed that she'd made everything up for social media attention and apologized to the investigators. I was reinstated at work, but the experience had changed me. Some students and parents still looked at me suspiciously. Rumors don't die easily, especially in a small town. I considered changing schools or even leaving teaching altogether, but my students surprised me. When I returned to class, many of them had prepared welcome back cards. They'd heard about the false accusations and wanted to show their support. It reminded me why I loved teaching in the first place. The family situation, however, remained complicated. Emma was still living with her grandmother, and the woman was furious about the whole situation. She'd raised Emma's mother and was appalled by Emma's behavior. Emma's grandmother called Mark and laid down the law. Emma could stay, but only if she made a public apology and faced real consequences for her actions. No phone, no social media, mandatory counseling, and community service. Emma initially refused, thinking she could just move in with friends or other relatives. But word had spread throughout our extended family. Nobody wanted to take in a teenager who had proven she was willing to destroy lives for internet fame. Finally, faced with the prospect of foster care or juvenile detention, her lies could have been considered criminal. Emma agreed to her grandmother's terms. She posted a public video confession admitting she'd made everything up. She apologized to me, to our family, and to her followers for lying. The video got even more views than her original accusations, but this time the comments weren't supportive. People were disgusted by her behavior. Her follower count plummeted. Brand partnerships disappeared. The money people had donated. Her grandmother made her return every penny she could track down, but the consequences went beyond social media. Emma's lies had created real-world problems. The school district had spent thousands of dollars on the investigation. My substitute teacher had to extend her contract, disrupting her own plans. Our family relationships were damaged, some possibly permanently. Emma is still in counseling, working through what drove her to make such devastating choices. Her therapist says it's a combination of social media addiction, attention-seeking behavior, and a lack of understanding about real-world consequences. She's also doing community service at a local crisis center where she's learning about the real impact of false accusations on actual victims. I hope it's helping her understand the gravity of what she did. As for me, I'm still teaching, but I'm much more cautious now. I never spend time alone with students. I keep my classroom door open during all interactions, and I've become an advocate for digital literacy education. Kids need to understand that social media isn't a game, that their online actions have real-world consequences. Mark and I are slowly rebuilding our relationship, but it's different now. He feels guilty for not recognizing Emma's behavior earlier, and I sometimes wonder if he still has doubts about my innocence, even though he says he does and single quotes Emma, and I haven't spoken since her confession video. I'm not ready for that conversation, and honestly, I don't know if I ever will be. What she did wasn't just a teenage mistake. It was a calculated decision to destroy someone's life for personal gain. The saddest part is that Emma had so much potential. She was smart, creative, and talented. If she'd channeled that energy into something positive, she could have built a genuine following based on her actual skills and personality. Instead, she learned the hard way that there are no shortcuts to success, and that lies, especially serious ones, always catch up with you eventually. This whole experience taught me that social media can be a dangerous tool in the wrong hands. Emma's case isn't unique. There are countless stories of people fabricating trauma, drama, or controversy for online attention. But behind every viral post is a real person whose life might be destroyed by those lies. I want to end by saying this. If you're watching this video and you're struggling for social media attention, please find a better way. Build something real. Showcase your actual talents. Be authentic. The temporary high of viral fame built on lies isn't worth the permanent damage it causes to yourself and others. And if you're someone who's been falsely accused, don't give up. The truth has a way of coming out, but you have to be patient and let the process work. Document everything, surround yourself with people who know your character, and don't let the lies define you. As for Emma, I hope she's learning from this experience and finding healthier ways to express herself. I hope she understands now that real connections and genuine accomplishments are worth so much more than social media metrics. That's my story. It's not the one I ever wanted to tell, but it's the truth. Thanks for listening, and remember, be kind to each other both online and off. The internet never forgets, but hopefully it can sometimes forgive.